What's good, everybody? My name is Gentleman Jug,
And I'm Son.
and welcome back to the Gentleman Juggcast, episode 42. And we got another one for you today this week. What's that, boy?
Ironman.
We're watching 2008's Iron Man.
Ironman.
That's right. But there's another thing that you got to know, boy. Maybe you do, or maybe you don't. But we are officially on season 2 of the Gentleman Juggcast. We've been doing this for, I guess, about a year.
It's season 2.
Yeah, I put it in my calendar, season 2, when the Juggcast starts. I didn't even know until it just popped up, and I was like, "Oh, it's season 2, son of a bitch!"
So 42 for season 2.
Yeah.
So
Look. It's not irony, but it is. It's a coincidence that I enjoy.
So the first season's 41 episodes.
Well, hopefully season 2 is a full 52 episodes, but we'll see. We'll see. But if you'll let me do some housekeeping real quick.
That's how we know it's season 2, because I'm on a different side now.
For today, anyways. So, have a YouTube channel. It's Gentleman Jug at YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's youtube.com, but it's Gentleman Jug on YouTube. So you type in Gentleman Jug, you'll find Gentleman Jug. That's where I play games, and I put more of the video episodes of the Gentleman Juggcast. Okay. Also, Instagram at Gentleman Jug. All I do there is pretty much just, put pictures of what we're going to be talking about or what we have talked about of the Gentleman Juggcast.
Uncut.
I guess. Peeled back and uncut. And then Twitter at Gentleman Jug. It's basically the Instagram. I say a couple thoughts here and there about some things, but not much, But hey, we're there. If you're looking, if you just gotta get Gentleman Jug into your system, if you just gotta get it into your veins, let me be the first to welcome you to the Gentleman Jug Twitter account. Okay. And then, of course, my email, gentlemanjug@icloud.com. I mean, if you want to say some shit to me, I don't care. I mean, it's not like you can't do it on Instagram or Twitter, but you can also do it on, my email, but whatever. Now that we got all that stuff out of the way, it's Ironman 2008. Okay. And, you really don't have to call it 2008. It's just Ironman, because they haven't rebooted the MCU to make a new Iron Man movie, where we would have to call this Iron Man 2008. All they did was just make Iron Man the movie.
Yeah.
And this is the birth of the MCU on this particular flick.
The Maku.
Yeah, but you have to understand, though, at the time, there were rumors that they would be making an Avengers movie, based off of Captain America, the Hulk, and Ant-Man movies they were going to be making at the same time. A Thor movie, that this was just before that. No one knew that this kind of thing was possible. I mean, we've had movies that carry over from one sequel to the next, but never an expanding universe of movies that all are interconnected with each other, and some take place before and after this particular movie. So this is really the beginning of history for this series of movies, of which there's 25 of them now. So, I'm okay with this, and look, over time, yes, there are some irregularities. That make you choke?
I was thinking about all the other irregularities.
Yeah, they can't all be perfect. But I do remember at a certain point, I want to say sometime after Avengers Age of Ultron, they just couldn't miss until Captain Marvel.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. There's like 25 of these son bitches. So, strap in. Because we're gonna be talking about Iron Man 2008. I don't know why I keep saying that.
Or just Iron Man.
Yeah, it's just Iron Man. It's just Iron Man.
Unless tomorrow Marvel decides upon YouTube, oh look, Iron Man reboot.
Yeah, if they decide to do that, then we'll call it that from then on. I don't know why I can't stop saying it, but I'm gonna try to stop saying it, and we'll get into that. So we got a movie that we're gonna discuss, boy. And what's that?
Iron Man.
Okay. You like how I segue that?
Yep.
No, you don't. You fucking hate it.
Yeah.
So what was I doing in 2008? I was working at a fucking bookstore. You were 4 or about to be 4. You were close to it anyways. 3 maybe going on 4. Okay. And
yeah, I remember.
It was one of those times where, yeah, you remember. Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. And I saw this movie in theaters with your mom, and I thought it was great. And I guess after seeing this movie, I have some thoughts. And we watched it together yesterday, so we got some thoughts. So let's go ahead and get into it. This movie has Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark, the Iron Man. We got Terrence Howard, who just pulls a one and done with James Rhodes as War Machine. We got Gwyneth Paltrow playing Pepper Potts. We got Jeff Bridges playing Obadiah Stane. Yeah, we got this one cat named Sean Tube. He's playing one of my favorite characters, Jensen.
I thought you were going to say Shawn Michaels.
I don't know why you would think that. You imagine if he was in this movie, Shawn Michaels. I don't know who he could play. I have to think about that. We got Clark Gregg playing Phil Coulson. Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan. We got Paul Bettany as the voice of Jarvis. And we got, I'm going to fuck this up, Farhan Tahir. He's playing as Raza, the leader terrorist of the 10 Rings.
Oh.
Yeah, that cat. So this movie kicks off in a desert. Upon first looking at it, I thought this was a desert that was in, the Sierra Mountains, in Nevada, I guess, some of California, and maybe Arizona, I guess. I don't know. I know it's in Nevada, but I was wrong. This is not in Nevada. This is in a Middle Eastern area where a convoy of Humvees are just, cruising along, playing AC/DC's Back in Black. And you see the first look of Tony Stark played by Robert Downey Jr. And Tony Stark here is completely charismatic, completely unlike how he is in the comics. And I love it. I just, found myself just, being taken in by his charisma.
It's funny that this is the only Iron Man I've ever known. I've never actually seen the serious version. This is the only version I've seen. And I'm ever since this version, every other version is just this.
Yeah. So this is the only Iron Man you've ever known. I've known Iron Man for a while. Okay. I remember seeing the Iron Man cartoon show when it used to come on way, way back in the day. I want to say before the X-Men cartoon, they had a run of Marvel cartoon shows. Fantastic Four, Hulk, of course, Iron Man. I don't think they had a Captain America one. But then that stopped for a bit. And then all of a sudden, the X-Men show came out and Spider-Man right after that. So I remember Iron Man. And I watched all the movies or I'm sorry, all the shows, read the comics, played the games. Iron Man's a cool character. He just is, but he was always a serious guy, and he was an alcoholic. So, there that is. But in this movie, he's completely charismatic. They completely changed the way that Iron Man really acts. And Robert Downey Jr., he just brings this character on the front page, making it look awesome. And that's why we go with the way Iron Man is now going forward, because of this shit. Completely charismatic. I loved it.
It's like now every time I think of Iron Man, I think of him.
Yeah, because you should. Just like, what's his name? Mark Hamill. Every time I think of him, I think of the Joker first before Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like the most, is his Joker voice. So he's being charismatic. He's throwing his weight around. He's sitting there freaking being cool and awesome and stuff like that. And right when, things are at their peak of him being as awesome as possible at this point in time, the Humvee gets blown the fuck up. Okay. And, you got to understand, Tony Stark is, he's a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, which is what he says all the time. And he was told by the army to stay inside, and then that guy died. So I guess what he said doesn't matter anymore. And so Tony Stark runs out of the freaking Humvee, and he gets blown up by his own missile. Now, he is wearing a bulletproof vest because he's supposed to. He's a VIP. But I guess the shrapnel was really bad and went all the way through his chest and lungs and was going to kill him. And then we see the title screen, just Iron Man.
I just think it's funny. Like, they show him being all captured. He's like, oh no. And then they get Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, he's all captured, about to die.
Yeah. And we see him attacked by the terrorists, because they black bagged him and took the black bag off when they was reading, whatever they usually say in front of a camera. And this was a sign of the times, because this kind of thing was happening, in 2008, while we were fighting the war on terror in America. So this was topical of the time. Of course, Tony Stark would be black bagged. It's fine. The terrorist group, we later learn, is the 10 Rings, which is supposed to be a Mandarin thing, because the Mandarin has 10 rings. We'll get into that some other time. Okay. This is Iron Man 2008, son. All right. So we get a flashback, bit more character development on the Iron Man story, and we see how gluttonous and how selfish this guy is. And I love it.
Yeah.
It just this was the lifestyle in 2008 that I wanted to lead at that time. Now I can't do that these days, because I just fall right head over heels into it, and you would not be able to bring me out of that black hole. So, but at the time, in 2008, when this came out, I was all about it. Okay. Like, this is awesome. He drives cool cars, lives in a big house, that's only overlooking the water. No one else freaking, lives like that. I thought this is the height of luxury. You get the fast cars, the hot girls, all that shit. I was loving it. And the personality where you can just talk your way into any woman's panties and just be making them dripping. Okay. I was all about that shit. Loved it. So we see this whole entire thing. And then we even have James Rhodes being played by Terrence Howard here. And I like Terrence Howard. Okay. But he just doesn't give me the roadie vibes. And it's not from because he changed to somebody else, to Don Cheadle. It's not because of that at all. It's just Terrence Howard, the man himself. He bothers me.
He upsets you.
I don't know. Maybe it's the way he talks. I don't know what it is, but it bothers me. More than I like to admit. I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure he's a nice person, but I wouldn't have picked him. And I know that, before in the Iron Man movie, when it was cast, he was the first one cast before Iron Man. They're like, you're playing Rhodey. And he's like, all right,
all right.
Yeah. All right. I don't know how to do I don't have an impression of Terrence Howard. I mean, I can try. Candyman.
You almost died doing that.
I did almost die. I had to think about that. I don't have an impression of Terrence Howard that's good, and and even then, if I'm saying, Candyman, I have to fucking, really think about how I'm supposed to say it, but whatever. So anyways, his life, is everything I wanted at the time. I just had to reiterate that. So now this movie is like late 2000s, so it still kind of has that late 90s stink on it.
Stain.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, But this is still a 2008 movie, so it still got some cool things. But the problem is that you can see some of the datedness of this movie.
Yeah,
but it's still good. At the time of 2008, I was looking at a lot of this stuff, and I'm like, that technology will never exist. And now a lot of it does. It's the Star Wars effect. You saw something cool in a movie, and you fucking just made it. So that's what it is. Anyways, by the time they get on the plane that they're supposed to go to this weapons testing site, Tony Stark gets on his plane, and his plane has stripper poles on it. Still,
why not? I guess.
Yeah, why not? I love it. Give it to me. So, when we do see Tony do this weapons demo, the little speech he gives, I thought was hilarious. I thought it was great. I loved it. I had a question. I don't know why they had to go out super far from the test site, from the plane to the test site, that would allow this whole movie to kick off. Okay. I mean, if it was me, the test site would be right where we land the plane. Right? We fire the missile, say the speech, get back on the plane.
Yeah.
There's no driving anywhere. Okay. But that's my opinion. Okay. I'm not an army master or anything like that. But anyways, the missile happens. It looks cool. He gets captured by the 10 rings. And then we go back to the flash forward. Tony has a car battery hooked up to his heart to keep him from dying. And Jensen is a man who begins talking with him about what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. So the terrorists want him to build a Jericho missile, that what he just displayed. But all of this in the cave with him and Jensen, for me, was gold. Yeah. I loved it.
I love the cave.
Yeah. I love the cave. It just makes me want to build weapons, and makes me, I say weapons with a question mark.
It just makes me want to use a car battery as a heart.
Yeah. Be good at math and science and engineering. Fortunately, yes, I got better at math and science and engineering after this movie came out. Not because of this movie, but from different circumstances. So I understand a little bit more of how he was doing what he was doing, and so on and so forth. Using the forge, using like hammering metals and things like that. So some other questions came up that I didn't think to ask after, seeing this movie last night. Okay. So you see Tony and Jensen being told that they need to build this Jericho missile. And they're on camera so the bad guys can watch them. And on camera, the guys are watching a big glowing reason that Tony might not be building them a missile.
I mean, they even show him like trying on what he's building.
Yeah, he put it in his chest. He's trying it on. He's freaking making things happen.
They're like, oh, that's part of the missile.
That's got to be part of the missile, man. I'm like, why is that? Why? First of all, if I'm a terrorist, because these terrorists are stupid, why is nobody in the freaking cave with them? Okay. Nobody's in the cave with them. Nobody's watching. I'm like, hey, cut all that out. Okay.
Maybe the terrorists being dumb is foreshadowing their leader.
I guess, because he's just as fucking stupid. But you need the bad guys to be stupid in a movie like this. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this whole entire time watching all this go down.
I like the hammer scene.
Yeah, it was cool. And like I say, even the suit is made. The bad guys are still dumb here. I don't really care, because this is all great for me. They build like when what's his name? Ravi. What I say his name was Ravi, Raza. He comes in and he starts threatening to torture, Jensen, and as soon as he does that, he's like, "Hey, you got like a day till morning to build my freaking missile," you know. And the missile, the first of all, the Iron Man suit wasn't even fully built. Wasn't even
Yeah.
started being built, and they had it built in like a day.
He is Iron Man.
Yeah, and they got it going. They got it turned on. They wrote programming, all that shit. So scene's great. Hero killing the bad guy, awesome. For whatever reason, none of the bad guys are shooting in the giant eye holes in his helmet. And even the bad guy, Raza, gets taken out.
With a missile.
Yeah, with a missile. And it's cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah, Iron Man flies in this scene too. It's awesome.
I like how he just torches the entire thing and then just flies away as it all blows up.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to destroy all of his weapons, which he did. And I'm cool with that. That was the whole reason and emphasis for this fucking movie.
And then he crashed in the desert.
Yeah. Which, it'll get discovered that all of his stuff is there. But once he gets saved by the army, you see him get back to America and go to Burger King because he wants an American hamburger for whatever reason. And he went to Burger King, but whatever. So he gets back and he wants to make some changes to his company. And because, of course, this is America, an arms manufacturer not making arms anymore is going to rock the boat just a touch. Okay. So while this is going on, he begins making his new Iron Man suit in his basement or his workshop. And this is part 2 of the cave scene. I like this too. It is awesome. I remember hearing Jarvis really talk to Tony and actually respond and make, jokes and things like that. It was great. I know that Jarvis is not normally supposed to be a AI talking bot. Is really supposed to be like an Alfred-like butler, emphasizing more of this Batman shit that Tony Stark has going on now. Yes, I know Jarvis as a bodyguard or as a butler is in the Peggy Carter show. I know that.
Yeah, like, we'll give you what you guys want.
Yeah, we'll give you what you want. But in this movie, I like the choice that they did with Jarvis and made him an AI.
And now he's been like that going forward.
He's been like that,
This movie really just set everything for Iron Man to go forward with.
Yeah. So once we see the Mark II suit, I'm thinking this suit looks great. I love it. Heads up display looks cool. Awesome for the time. I don't recall anybody making those the heads up display camera view where it shows just Tony Stark's face, a thing until after this movie showed up.
Yeah, now you see it all the time.
I don't know if I see it all the time, but I saw it a lot more. And I like it. I didn't like it when other people started doing it, but here Iron Man did it, and it made sense. I was like, this is pretty cool. I mean, let's be honest. It's just him with a freaking black turtleneck on, with a black screen behind his head, and they're just freaking filming him in the face. That's basically what it is. Isn't that what it is? That's what it is. So, but look, I thought it was great watching the little flaps and things like that move and the suit looking cool and coming together. I thought it was cool. What do you got to say about it?
I got to say that I thought it was cool.
Yes, it was. So, he takes his first flight. It looks cool. It flies into space, makes some changes and things like that. He adds a gold polymer to the suit so he can go into space, because of the icing problem and shit like that, which is fine. I dig it. I don't hate this. It's great. More exposition starts happening. Tony's losing his company. Things are getting hot and heavy with Pepper. The leader of the Ten Rings attempting to get his suit from Iron Man. S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to have a meeting with him. And Obadiah Stane is also betraying Tony as well. I said Tone. Tony as well.
Toenail.
So with the 10 rings making life hard for people, Iron Man decides to go into action. And this is the fucking iconic fight, right?
Yep.
You see the iconic things that happen here, like the missile shooting past Iron Man, and then Iron Man shooting his tank missile and freaking blowing up a tank and walking away.
Best.
Go ahead.
Best scene.
Yeah. It's a great scene. I love it. the sound effects are popping here. He's killing people. He's punching guys in the chest and caving them in. He's destroying lives. Now, I recall that superheroes didn't usually kill, but Iron Man doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't follow those rules. He killed everybody, right?
It's like, you might as well.
Might as well. I've been killing people forever, so he's been doing it.
He's like, I guess now I can do it for the right reasons.
Yeah. So once he gets done, he flies away and he gets into it with the army. They start shooting freaking rockets at him when they're airplanes or their jets. It's also great. This is a great scene. I love it.
I always remember that scene from like when he like jumps behind them.
Yeah, like when he flies, like he's like flying straight and he like hits his flaps and just goes behind the planes.
I'm like, I see that all the time.
It's a cool scene.
Yeah,
that's why you see it all the time. It's an awesome scene. I mean, it's great. Once the action is over, we get more exposition. I can't talk today.
Exposition.
Yeah. So Stain, we find out Stain is working with the 10 rings, and they were supposed to kill. Shut up. They were supposed to kill Tony Stark, and they didn't do that.
I don't know why, but I like Stain's voice.
You like that little gruff voice?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can thank Jeff Bridges for that, or you can figure out how to talk like that. I don't have an impression of him.
I just like that voice. I don't know why. It's just funny. It's like, it's the perfect villain voice.
Yeah. So he does take the armor from the 10 rings, leader Raza, and he decides to go ahead and build a prototype of his own. And this ends up beginning a series of issues with the Marvel movies that I don't like. It was fine here in this movie.
It was the first time.
But this was the first time, and I can deal with it in the first time. This begins the trend of bad guys having the exact same power as the good guy. Nobody has something completely different. If the Flash were to fight, he would be fighting, Captain Cold.
Mm-hmm.
They're two completely different people. I understand there's a reverse Flash, but that's the same trope. You're fighting a person who has the same powers as you. It gets boring after a while. It just does.
And like half these MC movies are that.
MC,
yeah.
MC movies. Okay.
Yep.
Marvel Cinematic movies. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. So this for me in the beginning is not a big deal, but I did notice it. And I know it's going to get far more noticeable as time goes on. Yeah. So Pepper does a favor for Tony and goes into his office to get some intel on what Stain has been doing. And she uncovers a video that explains the whole plot. So, we don't got to talk about that anymore. You know? So, even though we explained the whole plot, this tells you exactly what was going on. So,
I guess my favorite thing about this is that Stain walks in, right? And he grabs a newspaper thinking he's got the hard drive, and then it's gone. And he's like, and then he pulls out this, because the computer's on the screensaver. So he pulls out what she was watching. He looks, he's like, ugh, Jesus.
It's rough, hey, look, now they all know what you're doing. So you got to kill Tony and you got to kill, Pepper. So anyways, that scene, is tense.
Yeah.
And I like it. It's not a bad scene. It's one of many cool, tense scenes that I've seen in all these movies. They kind of are always the same, but not really. I would say you see, like, I guess a good example would be a movie that we're going to review sooner or later, which is Spider-Man Homecoming, when Vulture kind of figures out who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
That was a tense scene between those two. Oscar-winning scene, in my opinion. All three of those assholes in the car deserve to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Because that was a tense scene in that car.
Especially the way how it should have ended, did it?
Yeah. Yes. But in this particular scene, it was tense, but not that tense. So, anyways, Coulson shows up with Pepper, and she's able to leave with him. And then Stain finally shows his true colors to Tony, and paralyzes him with a paralyzing
Thing.
device. I guess I don't know what it's called. Steals the freaking arc reactor Tony Stark has in his chest, and he leaves, assuming Tony's going to die. Well, he doesn't die. Instead, he gets the spare reactor that Pepper left for him, and he Iron Mans himself up. So Rhodey then shows up and says he's going to help Tony by keeping the airspace so Tony can fly to go save Pepper, who is going to be attacked by Stain in the Ironmonger suit.
It's funny, they show off the War Machine suit, and he's like, next time. I'm like, no.
Nah, not for you, cuz. Nah, you ain't finna do that. Not next time for you.
Not you, man.
Nah, they didn't even make the fitting for you. Look, a part of me wants to see a world where Terrence Howard is still playing War Machine. But I'm fine with Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just looking at it and I'm like, well, not next time for you, homie. You're just gonna fucking be out. This is it for you. Not the last scene, but this is it for you. So anyways, Ironmonger shows up and it starts attacking Pepper. And he looks awesome by wrecking all these SHIELD agents.
And then his new voice makes him even more gruffy.
Yeah. I don't hate it. I think it was fine. Yeah, so, the Ironmonger suit, it looks super cool. It looks cool as he's wrecking Iron Man. It looks like two Terminators fighting.
Yeah.
It looks great. I love it. It's a short fight for whatever reason. But once it's over, Iron Man defeats Ironmonger by shooting another trope that happened in movies for a while until he started changing it, where a giant beam of light would shoot into the sky. And that's fine, for this movie. Okay?
We'll see you again later.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, right?
And almost half of these movies.
Right? So, I think it's the first time I saw it in a movie, but it might not have been. There could have been other movies where they shot a beam of light into the sky.
I mean, it's weird, is that I don't remember there being a sky beam in this one, because the sky beam I always remember is the first one that I remember seeing as the one from Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one I always remember. And then I saw it, I'm like, oh, it was in here first? I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It's all right. It's the first time in one of these movies, and I'm fine with it here. There's a press conference later, and has Tony Stark revealing that he's Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because, he likes the attention. He's a narcissist. It's fine. Movie's over.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. Nick Fury shows up at the very end of the credits, and I didn't see this in theaters. I walked out in the credits like everybody else did. And then I saw, I kept hearing rumors that there was an extra scene in Iron Man. I was like, bullshit. Turns out there was. And it was Sam Jackson playing Nick Fury, which would be Ultimate Nick Fury from the Avengers Ultimates, or Ultimate Avengers comics. And he showed up and he said something about the Avenger Initiative, and that just gave me freaking goose pimples. I had tingles all over my body legitimately, and I don't know how to explain it any better, because I don't know. It felt like something big was going to happen, like something bigger than just this one movie was coming, and just that feeling was great.
See, I'm like, when I heard him say that, I'm like, the who now?
Yeah, you didn't know. You didn't know.
I was like, who are you talking about? Who's this guy?
Yeah. But that's how odd people were back in the day. When I saw, I was like, it's fucking Sam Jackson playing Nick Fury. Oh my God, he said Avenger. So I felt great.
Yeah.
Loved it. This movie for me was great.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I give it a 4.
You give it a 4?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm giving it a 5.
Was it perfect for you?
It's perfect for me.
Okay. Well, hey, whatever. That's your thing. This was a great start to the movies, because later on that same year would be The Dark Knight. So, and we know how that movie is. I mean, the people listening don't, all 13 of you don't know, but we know.
Yeah.
So, but hey, I liked it a lot. I'm glad you liked it, boy. And we'll review another movie by next week, and that one will be available
when it's ready.
Hey, you guys, thanks again for watching that Gentleman Jug play. Please check out all the other things that Gentleman Jug has to offer, especially all the videos. And if you like this video, please do all the other things all the other YouTubers tell you to do. And check out the Gentleman Juggcast, pretty much available wherever you can listen to your Jugcast. Peace out!